Hello, my dear students. Good morning, everyone. Now, we are in the chapter Animal Kingdom. You may think that this chapter takes a long time. Obviously, yes, because this includes the subclasses and various phylum comes under the animal kingdom. So each one you are going to study in detail, which you have not done so far. So here you can study in detail of each animals. Okay, so that's interesting, right? So we were discussing in the previous class about after completing all the non-chordates, we have moved on to the chordata, where the chordata has been divided into protochordates and vertebrates. Yes, before coming to this concept of subclasses of chordata, there is a class which does not belongs to either of this category. That is, it is hemichordata. The word meaning itself, hemi means half. It neither belongs to chordata or vertebrata. So that's why it is placed in between. So it's named as hemichordata. The main characteristic feature of this that hemichordata, it is a animal which is found exclusively only in the marine, right? What is the nature of this? Yes, here they are aquatic animal itself. Along with that, here one more thing you have to remember, that body, all these features what we have studied so far about the bilateral level organization, that applies here also. Then they are coelomate, that also applies here. Then triploblastic, that also applies here. Then what else? Body is cylindrical. In case of this, when it comes to the higher level of organization, we expect to have some well developed structures, but this organism is in between of this non-chordata and chordata. And one more thing here to tell that they are in the previous system, in the earlier it was classified under chordata, but now it is placed separately under non-chordata. Okay, earlier it was placed under chordata itself, but now it is placed in a separate phylum under non-chordata itself. Why this change has made? Because of the development of some of the genetic work as well as some of the instruments. All those has made some changes in this science in information. So it made to place under a different subphylum, that is under the phylum non-chordata itself. It is named as hemichordata. And body is worm-like. You are remembering the features. The body is worm-like, and there is many, not much species are there. In this, only few species are there among this subphylum is hemichordata, and it has a head, collar, neck, and there is a abdomen. Okay, so head region, so it has we don't have that head, that region is called as proboscis. In this case, that head region is called as proboscis. Then next comes collar, then comes the trunk region. Actually, here one more thing to highlight, that proboscis gland, okay, it is a gland which is associated with the excretion. It is found in the head region itself. Just thinking, imagine like we used to say, we used to say in a very a funny way that whether kidney is located in your brain or what. So, but here the kidney exactly, that proboscis gland which is concerned with the process of excretion is located in the head region of this worm animal. It's like worm-like animal, and they have either they can secrete, there is a small pore, anus is also there, and along with that they have the proboscis gland which is located in their head region. There is a collar, then trunk region is there, which having the numerous gills. Okay, the gills are their respiratory structure. And then circulation, which mode of circulation they have? They have a open type of circulation. So if you consider from digestive system, it is complete. Then respiratory system, it is also with the help of gills. Then about the circulatory system, it is of open type of circulatory system. Then excretion or excretory system, it is by method of proboscis gland acts as a excretory organ, as well as there is a proboscis gland, as well as they have another region also there. Proboscis gland is the excretory organ. Apart from that, they have the tiny opening at the end of their body, which helps for the excretion. Then what else are the features of this? How many gill slits are there? There are many pairs of gill slits are there in the case of this hemichordata. The example for this is Balanoglossus, which is also called as tongue worm. Actually, this name is Balanoglossus, which is also named as tongue worm. Then one more thing to remember here is that here they are unisexual. Development is indirect. Okay, so unisexual animal and indirect development it has. These are other features of a phylum Hemichordata. Okay, then let us move on to the next class. It is about next concept is a phylum Chordata. So it is subdivided into one Protochordata and Vertebrata. So Protochordata includes Urochordata and Cephalochordata. So what are the difference between these two? Okay, Urochordata and Cephalochordata both are marine. They are found in the marine habitat. Then one more feature is that notochord is present. Why it is placed in the chordata? Because the presence of the notochord. Now we have to see the features of chordates and non-chordate, how it differs both. There is a table showing the differences between chordates and non-chordates. Before that, we also understood the main characteristic features of a chordates. What are the features it has? A chordate animal or chordate will have. What are the features it has? So we have drawn this structure, remembering the structure of all the features, major features of a chordate animal. Okay, so there is a dorsal hollow nerve cord. Hope you have drawn this diagram. There is a dorsal hollow nerve cord. Then there is a notochord which runs along the dorsal side. There is a notochord. Then there are gill slits are there. On which side? On either side there will be a gill slits. So these are the paired gill slits. Then notochord. So these are the main features of a chordata. So what are the characteristic features of a chordata? It has a presence of a notochord. Notochord also it is shown, and this region is called as the presence of a post-anal tail. See, post-anal tail, it is reduced when it comes to the higher level of organisms. But usually this post-anal tail for animals like monkeys or those rabbits, all those squirrels, all those, they helps for balancing their body also. The post-anal tail has a importance which is helps for the balancing their body. Then what are the other features we have studied about the feature phylum Chordata? Presence of a notochord. How it is? Notochord is solid. It is presence of a notochord. It is a solid. That means which is rigid. Notochord is solid, hollow, and it is mesodermally origin. Origin of this notochord is from the mesoderm layer. During the germinal layers, when we talked about the level basis of classification, we discussed that what are the germinal layers can be seen: ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. So from the mesoderm, actually the notochord is derived. So origin of notochord from which germinal layers? It is from mesodermal layer. Then how it is located? It is mesodermally derived, rod shaped, and it is present between alimentary canal and the nervous system. Okay, the notochord is present between there is a, if you just consider, if you just imagine the backbone vertebral column what the human being has, you can understand there is a in front of, this is a vertebral column, in front of that alimentary canal is running, and behind that there will be a nervous system will be running along with the back of the notochord. So this is a unique feature, and it is a main characteristic features of all the chordates. That is presence of a dorsal hollow nerve cord, and there is a presence of a notochord. Then central nervous system is there, hollow nerve cord. Okay, so here nervous system is hollow nerve cord. Then notochord is solid. Right? Notochord is solid, whereas nerve cord is hollow. Then what about the gill slits? It is paired gill slits are there. Either side, these gill slits can be observed. There is a chance, I know that students, you may be getting confused how this imaginary structure has been taken. So you have to think as if a portion of a animal is taken. Any portion of a chordate animal is taken. So just imagine like that. So either side how it appears usually. Okay. This is common from chordate onwards. This characteristic feature is common. Then if you consider next example is just consider the fish. If you take the fish and a fish, so you can imagine this structure. So how this paired gill slits are there on either side of the, yes. So we have two lungs. So like that, in case of animals, aquatic animals, they have this paired gill slits, which helps for their respiration. Symmetrical, I said already, bilateral, then coelomate, triploblastic, organ system level of organization, and closed circulatory system. All other features are same. Bilateral, symmetrical, then triploblastic, coelomate, then closed circulatory system. And reproduction, you know that it is reproduction is also well developed in this case. Okay. Then the one more major feature is presence of a post-anal tail. So these are the major characteristic features of a chordate. Chordata, it is what are the major features? Presence of a notochord, which is mesodermally origin, and there is a notochord vertebral column also. We can see this is serially repeated units are there. Disc, you heard of disc, which is located on our vertebral column. It is serially repeated, which is similar to the metamerism what is found in the case of annelids and all. Then there is a hollow nerve cord is there. Then paired gill slits are there. Post anal tail. Then notochord is solid. It is solid. Then symmetry, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic. They are coelomate animals. There is a closed circulatory system is present, and presence of a post anal tail. And these are the major features of chordata. Now let us understand, compare between the chordates and non-chordates. What are the difference between chordates and non-chordates? So this point also important. There is a usually question used to come with the help of a diagram. Write the characteristic features of chordates and write the differences between chordates and non-chordates. There are 5 differences are there. The same differences what is there in your textbook, you can write down. Okay, so just I am telling the features, differences you have to take down and you have to write in your notebook also. The first feature, okay, the chordates, non-chordates. Okay, I am writing in a using the short form to write fast. Okay, first point about the notochord. Here it is present. Non-chordates, notochord is absent. Then second feature, which feature we can see that central nervous system. How it is in the case of chordates, already we have discussed once here. It is hollow. Then how the nature it is on dorsal side, dorsal hollow, and it is, yes, how it is running? Single. in case of chordates. For example, in our case itself, consider what are the features you can see. It is on dorsal side. Central nervous system is on dorsal side. It is hollow and it is single. Whereas in case of non-chordates, it is a solid. It's not hollow and it is on ventral side, and there's a double ventral nerve cord will be running. For example, in annelids and all we have seen like this, it will join. So there will be like this ganglions will be there, joined by a ventral nerve cord, forming a brain-like structure. So actually, in the case of non-chordates, central nervous system is on ventral side. It is not it is not hollow, it is solid and it is double. Then in the case of pharynx, how the pharynx are there? Pharynx are perforated by gill slits, but here gills are absent. So pharynx are perforated by gill slits. In case of non-chordates, these gill slits are absent. Gill slits are absent. Then next feature. What's the next feature of this difference between chordates and non-chordates? Heart, where it is located in case of chordates, heart is on ventral side. But in the case of non-chordates, heart is dorsal if it is present. Okay, heart is dorsal. That also if it present. It is not present on all the organisms. If it is present, it is on dorsal side. So you should write if it is present in bracket. If it is present, it is on dorsal side, not on the ventral region. Then last point, post-anal tail. It is present and absent. Where it is present? It's fifth point. Post-anal tail is present in case of chordates. Post-anal tail is present. Here, in the case of non-chordates, post-anal tail is absent. Post-anal tail is absent. Got clear? So these are the major differences or comparing of chordates and non-chordates. There are 5 points are there. What are the points? Notochord is present in the case of chordates, whereas notochord is absent in case of non-chordates. You can copy from the textbook if you are comfortable with that. Here I made it a short form. So central nervous system is hollow, dorsal, single. Here the central nervous system is solid, it is on ventral side and it will be double. Then in the third point, pharynx are perforated by gill slits. But in case of non-chordates, gill slits are absent. Heart is on ventral side in case of chordates, but heart is on dorsal side in case of non-chordates. Post-anal tail is present, whereas here post-anal tail is absent. So this helps us to understand the difference between urochordates and cephalochordates. So in the case of urochordates, notochord is present only in the larval tail. But in case of cephalochordates, the notochord extends from head to tail and it is present throughout their lifespan. Okay, so this notochord is present in larva, but it is absent in the adult. So that metamorphosis or that changes is called as retrogressive metamorphosis. But this shows a progressive metamorphosis. Example for this urochordata are Acidia, Salpa, Doliolum. For this example are Branchiostoma and Amphioxus or lancelet. And remember, the both are marine. So these are the differences between or comparison of chordates and non-chordates and urochordata and cephalochordata, which are a subphylum under chordates, which is together known as protochordates. So got clear? So urochordata hemichordata, urochordata, and cephalochordata look similar, but there are differences. Urochordata and cephalochordata, with respect to their notochord, they differs. And with hemichordata, there is much differences. What is it? We will study about the vertebrates and their further classification. So first of all, we'll learn about the main characteristic features of a vertebrates. So when you think about the vertebrates, you must remember some of the, you know that vertebrates includes amphibians, reptiles, aves, and mammals. So all those animals, if you consider in your mind and if you imagine, then all these features you can grasp it easily. So first feature is that it possesses notochord. You know that notochord, I said in the last video, the difference between a non-chordates and chordate, where we understood that notochord is a solid and it is running along the dorsal side of the vertebrate. So it is, this notochord is present during the embryonic period, and this notochord is replaced later by a cartilaginous in some animals, or in some other animals it may be by bony vertebral column in adult. See, that's why the cephalochordate and urochordate was not taken under the, or not considered under the vertebrate. It is kept separately as a protochordate, because there the vertebral column, see for example notochord, it is present, it's not develops into a vertebral column, but this notochord, if it is present in urochordate only in the tail region and in the larva stage, later it gets disappeared. But in the case of cephalochordata, it is present. Okay, so this notochord is present, not the vertebral column. So it is present throughout their lifespan in the case of cephalochordata. But what about the hemichordata? Hemichordata was not at all included under this chordata. Previously it was considered under the chordata, but due to the lack of this vertebral column, non-chord and as well as notochord, this hemichordata is kept separately from the chordates, and it has a separate phylum and subphylum under the non-chordate itself. Now it is considered under the subclass among the non-chordates itself. This is the reason why it is not considered as a chordates. The next feature is that, so remember, it will be in some animals, for example in some of the fishes and all, that bony vertebral column is not, it is not will be bony, it is not made up of bones, but instead it will be a cartilaginous bony endoskeleton. Thus we can say that all vertebrates, this shows that this feature, understood which feature, that is notochord, which is present during the embryonic period, later it is replaced by a rod of cartilaginous, or it is can be replaced by a bony rings, which is called as vertebrae. In single term, it's also you can refer it as vertebrae, which has the repeated units of vertebral disc, right? So this shows that this vertebral column, we can in a simple term we can also say it as a backbone, understood? So we call it as vertebrates. So I'll repeat once again, the notochord which is present during the embryonic period is replaced by either a cartilaginous or by a bony endoskeleton, which is called as which is called as backbone, right? Which is called as backbone, and it is present on the dorsal side, and it contains the bony rings. So we can say that this shows that all vertebrates are chordates. All vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Yes, you make that change here. All vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. So this you can clearly understood if you compare with the previous phylum what he has studied under the non-chordates, that is under the chordata, protochordata, cephalochordata, and they are not considered as vertebrates, because here in the case of vertebrates we can see that notochord will be replaced by a cartilaginous or bony endoskeleton. Fine. So this sentence is important. Give the reason. Some question used to come. Give reason or justify the statement. All vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. So this is like some aptitude questions used to come in using the Venn diagram. Like all pencils are pen, but some of the pencils are pens. Then like that some clue they used to give, and you have to identify what is that means. So like that statement based question used to come for the some of the general aptitude level of type questions. So this also has that meaning. Okay, so once you understand this reason, since they possess the notochord during the embryonic period, that notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous bony vertebral column in the adult. So that's why this shows that all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Then second feature of these vertebrates, they have a ventral muscular heart. What heart is? On ventral side it is highly muscular. And what are the chambers it may have? It may have either 2, 3 or 4 chamber. 2 in case of fishes, 3 in case of crocodiles and all, then 4 in the case of birds and mammals. Kidney. What is the function of kidney? Kidneys are there in all these higher animals, which act as an organ of excretion, as well as its function is, one function is osmoregulation, second function is excretion. Then circulatory system. You know about the circulatory system, already we said it's a muscular heart is there, on ventral side it is there, okay, not on dorsal side. Muscular heart with the 2, 3 or 4 chamber, which is closed type. And one more thing here, you should remember that this is blood is red in color. Why that blood is red in our body is due to the presence of the pigment called as hemoglobin. So hemoglobin makes the blood red. Got it? So it is due to the presence of hemoglobin. So that's why it gives a red color to the blood. Then respiration is either by gills or also through the lungs. In some of the animals, for example, fishes and all, the respiration is through gills. But when it comes to the higher animals, there the lungs act as a respiratory organs. Then they have a well-developed appendages. Appendages means locomotory organelles, which helps for the movement. Either it can be fins or limbs. If you take the aquatic animals like fish and all, they have fins, right? So this you can see there are fins are there. In the fish, you can see the fins are there, which act as a which helps for their locomotion. You can see there is here also 2 fins are there, paired fins are there. Back also there is a paired fins are there. So this is equivalent to the forelimb and hind limb, which is equivalent to our hands and legs. So locomotory organelles are there that will be paired. That means their paired appendages are there, which is fins or limbs. Then about the central nervous system. Central nervous system is there, which is differentiated into brain and spinal cord, and brain is well protected by the cranium. That is another feature found in the vertebrates. Then if you take many other features are there, okay, the endoskeleton. About the endoskeleton, if you say it is made up of cartilaginous bones, then also we have the exoskeleton is present, which is hairy exoskeleton in case of mammals and feathery exoskeleton in case of birds. Then also you can say that they are unisexual. There is a pair of gonads are there. Then what are other features? They have the endocrine glands. Okay, endocrine glands. Those top points are not there in your textbook, so it is not writing here. So for your for the information, you can take it down. That presence of they are unisexual animals, pair of gonads are present. Then they also possess the endocrine glands, which secretes the hormones to regulate their body functions. So next we'll see how these vertebrates are further classified. Okay, the previous classification you got cleared. Have you understood about this? Protochordates, urochordate and cephalochordates. Now let us see how these vertebrates are classified. Vertebrates, the first division is based on the presence of jaw. Okay, based on the presence of jaw, it is further classified. How that classification is done? See, usually when during the evolutionary period, the jaw started to appear. That means gnatho means jaw. What is this? So, the first division is based on the jaw. Okay, so what will be the first classification then? It will be with the jaw and without jaw. The animals with the jaw, without jaw we'll first discuss. That is, they are called as gnathostomata. So first we'll consider the without the jaw, that is agnatha, and without jaw, with the jaw it is called as gnathostomata. Many times I told when the term A comes means acoelomates. Okay, so it means absent. So without jaw. The animal without jaw, it is agnatha. With the jaw, that animals together called as gnathostomata. See, this agnatha, that's a jawless animal, is a primitive kind of animal which don't have many species. Very less species are there among these. So here, mouth is not bounded by the jaw. So it is known as jawless animal. We can also call it as a jawless vertebrates. What is this? Another name for this? You can also refer it as a jawless vertebrates. And this class includes only one type under this. That example is cyclostomata. Cyclostomata is the only one class includes under this. Okay, here the features we will see about this once we come to that topic, class like cyclostomata. But gnathostomata, that is further divided into two super classes. What are those two subclasses or superclass it has? It has Pisces or Pisces. How you can pronounce superclass? Pisces means which includes the fishes. Then another class is, what is the next class? Based on their four legs. It is tetrapoda. So based on the poda means legs. Okay. So here Pisces, why it is kept separate? Because they have the fins. They bear fins. Tetrapoda without fins. They have the limbs. Instead of fins, they have what they have? They have limbs. So they have the without fins bear limbs. So it is called as tetra means four. Okay. Tetra means four. Poda means it is legs. So which has a four limbs or four legs. It is called as tetrapoda. Superclass Pisces, again two types are there based on their endoskeleton. One is osteichthyes and chondrichthyes. Chondrichthyes, cartilaginous fishes, and bony fishes are called as osteichthyes. This is the further classification of superclass Pisces. Chondrichthyes and osteichthyes, they are the cartilaginous fish. This is a bony fish. Then tetrapoda includes, what are the further subclasses under this? It includes amphibian. Four subclasses are there. Amphibia, then reptilia, class Aves, and class Mammalia. So these are the further subclasses under Tetrapoda, or which have the jaw. Okay, so first of all, the vertebrates are divided into two, that is based on their presence of jaw. Those without having the jaw, they are called as agnatha. Those which has the jaw, they are known as gnathostomata. Then agnatha, example is cyclostomata. There is no much classes, only one class is there under this, and it does not have much species. Then gnathostomata, that means which has the jaw. Here it is two types are there. Which has the fins, it is class superclass Pisces. Which has the four legs, it is called as Tetrapoda. Superclass Pisces further classified into two types, that is chondric thighs and ostrich thighs, that is cartilaginous fish and bony fish. Tetrapoda, which has the limbs, classified into amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals. So this is about the major classification of this subphylum Vertebrata. Got clear? This is the further classification of subphylum Vertebrata. Now which we have to start to study now. We have to move on to the topic. Which topic? Cyclostomata. So shall we go with the next topic then? Cyclostomata. What are the main feature of this cyclostomata? Have you got clear what is learned so far? What is taught so far? Hope you got cleared about this. So we understood what are the features of vertebrates, how these vertebrates are classified, the subphylum Vertebrata. Phylum kingdom is, which is a phylum here? Right? What is the phylum? This phylum Chordata. Under that, subphylum Vertebrata. So for the further classification of Vertebrata is, first division is based on the presence of jaw. Then it is two are there, agnatha and gnathostomata. Agnatha without jaw, with the jaw is gnathostomata. Here only one animal which comes under this cyclostomata. Here it has fishes and all other amphibians, reptiles comes under that category. So next topic is cyclostomata. So this about the cyclostomata we will see in the next video. So all of you make that chart, write neatly without any mistakes. Okay, and textbook reading also compulsory, and you have to add more points by referring some other book also, and see the exercise question answers. Exercise questions are answered also. You have to find out. Even if I am not telling also, it's your duty to find out the answers, because that you have to make yourself ensure, you have to make sure that you are able to answer those questions. And if not able to get the answers, please ask with us or ask with me, send the questions which you did not get the answers, and I will help you. Okay. So thank you. We will continue in the next video about the cyclostomata.